scintillating episode of Ballers to Balding, where, as always, we'll have some strong takes and some weak follicles. If you enjoy the show, please subscribe, follow us on Instagram, Spotify, because the New England Journal of Medicine has just found that listeners of our podcast live 3 to 5 years longer, which honestly feels a little low to me. It's been a week. We were off last week, Roscoe.
Yep, we were off.
I missed you, man.
Well, it was, I had
under the weather.
No, actually, that's what I told you, my friend.
Oh, shit. Here we go.
Actually, we were not off because I was under the weather. As you may know, there's a little excursion going on in the Middle East. And I had to be in the Middle East last week because Ross, was trying to get the Straits of Hormuz open, but not for the reason you may think. Now, the U.S. military is trying to keep that strait open because 20% of the world's oil goes through the Straits of Hormuz. But what most people don't realize is there's also 30% of hair product goes through the straits.
Oh, it doesn't.
And 50% of Rogaine. And that's something we cannot handle. Maybe oil prices are going up, but we can't have Rogaine and hair product going up. So I had to be there to help supervise the U.S. military on opening up the straits. And I'll tell you, there's hope, especially now that I'm publicizing this on our podcast, that finally NATO will act.
That's one of the weakest excuses I've ever heard. I'm going to check. I'm going to follow up on that because I have a suspicion that you just made that up.
Well, let me just ask you this.
Yeah.
Look at the degradation of my hair. This will affect the markets.
Yeah, sure.
Just saying.
Okay. It's a good thing. All right. I guess when I say you think the world revolves around you, people think it's hyperbole. Maybe it's not. Well, while you were fighting for the hair product of America, I actually went to did you hear about the Fanatics Flag Football Championship this weekend? It was at BMO Stadium in Los Angeles.
I did. Didn't they have when you got in, you had to not only have tickets, but show that you had very few friends?
Yeah. It's actually it's at BMO Stadium, which is where one of LA's pro soccer teams plays.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So in other words, I had never been there. Great little stadium, 25,000 people.
Perfect.
Not a bad seat in the house, which was good because no matter where you were seated, you could see the ass kicking that went on.
Oh.
I was actually excited because I was like, oh my God, I'm going to get to see Tom Brady throw again. Maybe he's still got it, And I got to say, at first, he did not disappoint. Came out immediately, threw a 30-yard touchdown pass, then hit Gronk for an extra point. I was like, oh my God, Brady's back, the comeback. And then the U.S. team scored 43 unanswered points. It was like the Globetrotters playing the Washington Generals. You could literally see the moment that Brady was like, oh shit, this isn't football. In 4 games, the USA team scored on every offensive possession. It was like they were playing Xbox against 3-year-olds. It was not exciting.
And this is not like the guys who are playing for the U.S. team, like they're not well-known household names, right?
No, they're the Olympic team. But I mean, they're small and they're fast. And like the NFL players, it's like these multimillionaires who are famous for playing in the NFL against guys who actually know how to play flag football. Like one good thing is that the stadium had phenomenal margaritas.
Did it really?
Which we were hitting almost immediately in game 2. We're like, all right, we better start it. Well, you got to figure their fan base is probably all Latino soccer fans. You know what I mean?
It's true.
So I'm just going to say I'm not sold on flag football. I had like a few suggestions to make the game better. Okay? Like instead of going 5-on-5, maybe you go 11-on-11. Open it up a little bit. Instead of the 40-yard field, maybe you go a little longer, 100 yards.
Well,
right?
you have to with that many people. On
and
the
instead of like those stupid flags, maybe you just tackle each other. Now we're talking an exciting game.
Well, hey, and let's also make it impossible to understand what is a catch.
Yes.
What is a completion? What is a completion?
I guess that's where the Olympic flag football is going to be, at that stadium. And it was pretty tough getting in and out, if that's any indication of how they're going to run the Olympics. Anyway, let's get to it. We have so much. We missed a week. And we should start out with everyone's favorite douchebag of the week. I'll let you want to go first? You want me
I get to go first? You go first, big boy.
I'll go first, okay?
Okay, big boy.
So my douchebag of the week is all-pro defensive end Myles Garrett, who just set another record. He picked up his 9th speeding ticket since entering the NFL. 9 speeding tickets. At this point, it's not like he's getting a speeding ticket. He's basically in a loyalty program with the state police. One more on his punch card. He gets a free ticket. This latest one, he was going 94 in a 70, which honestly, it feels like he's taking it easy compared to some of the other ones. Because this guy's been caught going over 100 miles an hour multiple times, including 2 tickets ago where he was going 122 miles an hour. Like he's training for Daytona.
I mean, all right. And look, I'd be so scared if I was. I'd be.
I mean, look, everyone goes 75 into 65. You're running late, whatever. But when you're consistently pushing triple digits in a Porsche, it's not like it's not speeding. It's a personality flaw. And what kills me is he already got in a car crash in 2022 where he flipped his Porsche. And he was lucky that he wasn't killed. And like normal humans would take that as a sign that the universe was saying, hey, maybe you should learn how to use cruise control. But not this guy, not Myles Garrett. No, he's like, look at that. I'm invincible. Yeah, I'm like, come on, Myles. You're the best player on the Browns. You're one of the best defensive football players in football. You make millions and millions of dollars. You could literally have someone drive you everywhere like you're Oprah. But instead, you're out there treating the highway like it's an audition for Fast and Furious, Yeah. Risking your life, risking other people's lives, risking the next season of the Cleveland Browns. Haven't the fans suffered enough? So congratulations to an elite pass rusher, probably a future Hall of Famer.
Oh, for sure.
And a man who perpetually goes pedal heavy like Joe Burrow just flew past him going 150 and flipped him the bird. You, Myles Garrett, are my douchebag of the week.
So, quick follow-up question. Did you have difficulty making Myles your douchebag of the week? Have you ever seen him without a shirt? His body is so perfect. He's like a guy, like usually you see the perfect bodies on the smaller guys. He's like 250 pounds of pure muscle. His body is very much like yours. Do you agree with that?
Yes. His body is like mine if I was a lot bigger and if you replaced some of the fat pockets with solid muscle.
Well,
I used to be in good shape, and sometimes I feel like underneath this layer, it's like I feel sometimes like I'm wearing a fat suit, and if I could just take it off, I'd be Myles Garrett.
Come on.
I'm not worried that he is a freaking scary dude. He took off his helmet once and beat someone with it. Yeah. But I'm not too worried. I'm not too worried about it because I drive like 65 miles an hour. He'd be looking for me and he'd just go right past.
Well, he is. I happen to like him as a player. But that is very much a douchebag of the week.
He's going to wind up wrapping the car around a tree, and everyone's going to be like, who saw this coming? What a tragedy.
All right. Well, can I get to my douchebag of the week?
Sure. I can't wait.
My douchebag, I'll be quick, is Luka Doncic. Why is Luka my douchebag? Well, I've always thought that Luka was a douchebag. Usually you and I talk about the fact that, we don't think these people are douchebags, but we think that we're a douchebag this week. I think Luka generally is a douchebag. I think he's a diva. He's a guy who's been great his whole life. I think that although when he got traded from Dallas, the way Nico Harrison did it, where he didn't get any any other offers and didn't open it up to the market, was really stupid, and that's why he got fired. But I did not think it was as crazy as that Luka got traded. Because why did he get traded? 1, for Dallas, he was never in shape. 2, he wasn't really coachable. 3, he is a ball, not going to say a ball hog, but he is ball stopper. The ball sits with him. And last, he complains to the ref so often that it hurts his team. It takes him out of the game. They lose fast break baskets going the other way. This has been a constant problem with him, and this goes back to the fact that he is a diva. And you saw this when the Celtics beat the Mavericks in the championship. It really affected games where he just is incapable of controlling himself. Well, this year, he's been consistent, and he just got his 16th technical. And his 16th technical was against the Magic, and it was because he and a guy by the name, and I don't know this guy, Goga Bitadze, Bitadze, they were taunting each other when after Luka was on the foul line. And Luka gets his 16th technical, which would now make him have to have a suspension of 1 game during the season. Now, ultimately, the tech got rescinded because Luka made the argument that, well, Goga was talking badly and inappropriately about my family. Okay, Luka, to go back to your comments about Myles Garrett, you're making hundreds of millions of dollars. This is exactly what teams are going to do to you when you can't control yourself. Okay, you got this rescinded. He'll get another one because he can't control himself. He is a douche. He's a douche of the week. He's going to be a douche of the week another time. He is the douche of the week.
I can see that. I want to ask you a question. I'm going to throw a question back at you that you asked me. Are you worried? Have you seen his body? Do you feel like your body? It's very similar to your body. Do you think?
But that's actually accurate.
That's what I'm saying.
Actually, he did work out this year, and everyone's like, "Oh, Luka's in great shape this year."
He's thinner. He's thinner.
Let's see how long that lasts. You always
still kind of. He still kind of looks like Brady at the combine. I mean, come on.
I think he would be lucky if he looked like Brady at the combine. Brady looks like he's in way better shape.
That famous picture. Brady does. I saw him at the thing. You know who looked great, by the way?
I'm sorry. You said the combine. I thought you were talking about the stupid flag football thing.
No. The combine when he had that famous picture.
Oh, yes. You're right.
Horrible.
You are correct. You
know who looked, by the way, who throws a beautiful ball? Beautiful. When you see him, like, without, is Joe Burrow is there, and he throws a beautiful pass.
I think that he is. I think if I had to say who's the most like Tom Brady in the NFL right now, I think that would be Burrow.
Maybe he's got a little swagger.
Can't stay on the field.
Well, let's keep it moving along. We have to talk NCAAs. That's a huge. It's as always. It's exciting. Why don't you go first, and I'll give you my take after.
Right.
It's been fun to watch.
It's been excellent to watch, and I have to say, as I've told you, the last 5 to 10 years, I have really fallen out of love with the NCAA tournament.
Really?
Yeah. And as you know, when we were in our 20s, 30s, there was nothing better than the NCAA tournament. Yes. As a matter of fact, I would argue that watching the NCAA tournament was part of our perfect day.
Yeah.
And when we used to say, what's your perfect day? Yeah. What's your perfect day? Always included NCAA tournament, Chinese food, right? Catching rays, and women named Candy and Savannah. So
that's not true.
Well, maybe
there
was
another element that we can't talk about. Everyone can imagine what it is.
So I used to love the NCAAs. I thought it was so awesome. But in the last 5 to 10 years, I just thought the caliber of play was so bad. And the reason is because what was happening is, especially longer time ago, all the best players were one and dones. And you had very few upperclassmen. And if you did, they really weren't great. And there was just no incentive to stay.
And also those young guys, it was their first time doing it, and they didn't have experience.
Correct. And they didn't know how to play basketball.
It's a good point.
And so the shooting was awful. There were so many turnovers. And I literally used to think, I'm like, wait a second, I'm like watching a high school game. That's really, and I just thought it wasn't, the caliber of play wasn't great. Now, I think the talent's caught up. I also think it has something to do, again, with NIL, because now there's an incentive for the older players to stick around. And you also see a lot more movement, and it's just, you have better players. And I now watching this, I'm like, wow, these guys are good. They're great passers. They're not great. Well, they're great passers too, but they're great shooters. You have good play. The ball movement's better. So I just have loved it. And I thought,
what team do you think it looks the best?
I hate to say this, because I abhor everything about this school and program. Michigan.
It's funny. Right when you said that, I knew you were going to say Michigan. They do look really good.
They look unbelievable.
They've been great all year. They lost to Duke, though. But the thing about the NCAA is one game.
What's the guy? Lundberg? Their best player. I should know. Lundberg.
They have a lot of good.
He's their guard. And and it's funny when you watch the college, it's so easy to see the pros. They just look different. They're bigger, etc. And as a matter of fact, I actually watched a Celtics game after watching the NCAAs all day, and it's just unbelievable how much bigger the NBA players are.
Well, it's incredible the change in body type over the last 25 years in NBA. They're all like, they just all look like.
I mean, you and I were ahead of our time because our bodies were like that. But I would just say Michigan is who I've looked at and said, okay, they just look different. That's my team. What do you think about the NCAAs?
The weird thing, though, about the Sweet 16 that I noticed is that there are 0 Cinderella teams.
Yes.
There's 0. You look at the bracket, it's like Duke, Kansas, Michigan, UConn, Arizona. It's like it's a trust fund reunion in sneakers, basically, is what it looks like. And usually there's at least one team where you're like, what the hell is that?
Yeah.
Is that even a school? Remember a few years ago, it was St. Peter's. They made the Elite Eight, the Peacocks. Do you remember that 99% of America never even heard of them? Yeah. They sounded like the name of a minor league baseball team, and everyone's like, "Oh no, they're a small Jesuit school in New Jersey." They made it was crazy, but now it's like there's no tiny school from Indiana with a guy named Trevor with an aggressive mullet who's hitting 3-pointers left and right. That doesn't happen anymore. And obviously, you said transfer portal. I think that's a big part of it because they kind of eliminated the middle class. The second mid-major gets a good player. He's like, I love my school. I love my coach. I love my teammates. I'm going to Duke. I mean, that's what happens, right? I just feel like, Cinderella enters the portal. It's midnight, and she's like, you know what? Actually, I'm going to check out my options. So I don't know. That's what I kind of have noticed a little bit. I mean, and the play is great, and I agree with you on Michigan. Duke, I think, is good. They had a scare in the first round, but they're. I mean, but listen, everyone's sick of Duke. It's like every year they're there. But
I have to tell you, Michigan. I saw both those teams in Michigan just look superior to me.
Well, the one thing is that Duke beat them during the year. And I don't think they're going to beat them twice.
I don't either.
You know what I mean?
Michigan looks bigger to me. But they have.
Yeah, they have everything. They have size. They have shooting. They play great defense.
Quick question:
Dusty May's done like unbelievable job.
What's up with all the Jesuit schools? There's all these Jesuit schools. How come?
I haven't done the research, Ross. I'm not sure.
Why isn't there? Why aren't there more Jewish? schools?
Why
aren't there more Buddhist schools? Well, I don't understand why. Oh yeah, it's like where's the Jewish and the Buddhist
Jesuits
schools
came to this country because in the last 200 years, they came to this country because they were being persecuted religiously and from basketball. A lot of their basketball players were not getting a chance in other countries, so they came here and they formed these basketball schools, like St. Peter, like the Peacocks. You don't remember them?
No,
you don't.
I don't even remember.
Oh,
I don't even remember.
Look at it. It was. I think it was 2020. It was in the 20s. It was 22 or 23. They made it to the Elite Eight, and it was like, what the hell? But there's been a lot of those schools. You're like, what the hell is this school? I remember before Gonzaga was on the map, the first time they played, or I was like, Gonzaga, and Brad Stevens put Butler on the map.
Brad Stevens, which is a great segue to our next category. I love Brad Stevens. He's so cute and he's so smart. He's so cute and smart. I just love him so much.
All right. So that does lead. This was your idea because you and I were talking about a few athletes at one point that we liked. And you're like, we should just do our man crush of the week for athletes. And I said, I will do it. I will do it.
Good flip side to douchebag of the week.
It is. It's a night. We'll do this occasionally. It was your idea. I think it's a good one. I want you to go first. I want to hear your athlete who is your man crush. Let me hear it.
So I have to tell you, let's let our listeners go behind the curtains a little bit, and we talk a little bit about what we're going to do during the week. And I said, I'm going to do Josh Allen because he's awesome. He's a great guy. He's a great player. He plays injured. He just restructured.
He plays injured. That's interesting. Because I had a friend who was supposed to do a podcast last week and just had the sniffles and backed out.
Hey, I told you, Straits of Hormuz. But
I know. I feel like that might be an excuse. But go on.
So he just restructured his contract to get he's just a great dude. I love him. But then I was thinking to myself last night, at 3 in the morning when I couldn't sleep. I get angry with Josh when he makes bad plays and when he does stupid turnovers. And then I thought to myself, is that a man crush? Because I could never be angry at my real man crush, Kevin Garnett. I know it's outdated. I know it's outdated, but my whole body tingles when I think about Kevin Garnett. I mean, he was so good for the Celtics. He was so athletic and he was so cool. Like we followed the Celtics for 50 years. And the fact of the matter is the Celtics were great, but they were never cool until they had Garnett. Remember? Garnett was like, he was nasty. He dunked on the rim like the rim was a Cobra Kai. I mean, he was, and he talked a lot of smack. And I mean, even just the way he looked, like he had tremendous calves. You don't see good calves with 7-footers. You just don't see good calves with 7-footers. He dressed well, and he just changed he said he bled Celtic green. My wife said to me, because I have talked about Kevin Garnett so often, she said, you have a man crush on him. And I said, I do. I love Kevin Garnett. I know
it might be more than a crush.
It may be. It may be. I mean, I like I said, he is everything I want to be.
I'll tell you something about Garnett. I'll tell you one thing about Garnett. That was one of the reasons why I think you loved him. I loved him. All of Boston really embraced him. Other than Bird, I can't think of another player that ever came in and changed the culture so quickly.
Yes.
I mean, that team was Paul Pierce's team, and yet Garnett came in and it was his team immediately. Just the effort and the intensity and the enthusiasm. And, I heard a story where, like, if a rookie came in and he was shooting, Larry Bird would chirp at him and give him a hard time and to get him tough. If there was a rookie that came in, Kevin Garnett would throw him balls when he was shooting.
Yes, that's what Danny Ainge said that story.
Right.
He said Larry would never do that. He said Larry would never do that.
But Garnett was a teammate. Like Bird was a teammate too. He just had a different style. But like Garnett changed the culture, and he made you love that team. And I think he was the best thing that ever happened to Paul Pierce. Not just basketball wise,
for sure,
but attitude wise.
And even after the pros.
Did you see Garnett in Uncut Gems?
Tremendous.
I mean,
the fact that he did not get an Oscar nomination is just
Oscar nomination.
Yeah, well,
he should have the fucking statue on the wall. Come on,
I'm sensing that my partner here is getting a little bit toasty himself about KG. Could we say man crush?
I mean,
man crush.
I don't know if it's a man crush the way you have a man crush, but
think
I love
those calves. Those calves,
they're good. Yeah,
Jesus.
To me though, the man crush isn't a sexual thing like it is for you. To me, it's more like, I really respect him and like him as a player. So my man crush this week is a little more of the moment. It's David Pastrnak. The Bruins are in a dogfight right now for the playoffs, and this guy, it's like he decided, all right, I'll handle it, and he actually has. Last 14 games, he has 9 points. He's on a total heater, multi-point nights all over the place. And on the season, he's sitting at 90 points in the top 5 in the league. Just people barely talk about him outside the Bruins. It's like casually one of the best players on earth. And the rest of the Bruins are like struggling to survive. And he's just like pulling the mantle. And the guy is so freaking chill and hilarious. He's always smiling, always dancing during warmups.
That's big.
It's like he was playing pond hockey in the Czech Republic and just suddenly accidentally ended up in the NHL. That's how he plays. And here's a little humble brag for you. I know an ex-Bruin who shall remain nameless. I don't know if he'd like me telling this story, but he told me that when he was there, he was not a superstar or anything. He had to grind for everything. Strict diet, brutal workouts, constantly fighting just to stay on the roster. And meanwhile, Pastrnak would roll into practice like 10 minutes before it started, eating fries out of a McDonald's bag. Like, he's late for a men's league game. And then he'd go out, fucking dominate. He said it was just insane how talented he was. So they're just he's cool as shit.
How old is he?
He's not that old. I mean, he's been there a while, but he started when he was, he's in his 30s, but he started when he was like 19 or something. And my final thing is the guy's nickname is Pasta. That's his nickname. I mean, who doesn't love pasta, ravioli, rigatoni, pappardelle, all top tier meals. Mm-hmm. But this week, my favorite pasta is the Czech sniper, David Pasternak. Carbs and goals. Can't beat it.
Love
man crush of the week.
Love your man crush. I love your man crush.
I mean, the guy has swagger. I love him.
All right. New feature, I think, and believe it or not,
it'll be here and there. We'll pick it out once in a while.
I like it.
It's going to be tough to think. There are a lot more douchebags than there are man crushes. Let's put it that way.
It's true. I already named two of mine. All right.
We should start filtering in some new features like this as we go. If you want, Ross.
No,
if you're not too busy talking about hair.
Well,
if you could work the time in.
All right.
All right, buddy? Take it easy. I hope you feel well. Good luck with the hair.
I appreciate it.
Until next time.
Woo!